Welcome, everybody. This is the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley. Every week, we bring you the stories of people who are making a difference in the lives of others, improving their communities locally, globally, and digitally. We're getting a little bit of all of that today because today we have one of our own presenting to the club. Those of you who don't know the club, I should mention the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley is part of Rotary International. Over 1 million Rotarians and Rotaractors all over the world who are doing all kinds of wonderful things. And one of them is Shags Shagrin of the Rotary Club of Silicon Valley, who is our longtime paella master. This is a guy who's been in Rotary for about 400 years. He's been involved in all kinds of things, been president of Rotary Club twice. This is a guy whose heart bleeds Rotary. And it is so fun to get him to talk to us about another element of his work to make the community better. It is something that he got to making happen just a few months back, and it is the kind of thing that I think people in all sorts of places around the country will understand is a major need. Shags, it is a pleasure to have you as our speaker today. Welcome to the Rotary eClub of Silicon Valley, of which you're a part.
Thank you, Rushton, and good to see Rory and Chris here as well. It has been an amazing few months, but I want to take you back to, oh gosh, May of 2001. We're a year and a half into COVID. People are isolated. We're separated from each other. We're not able to get out. People are getting lonely. Well, what happened was Medicare reached out, I guess, to some of the healthcare providers and said, can you do something about this? There's a big concern. And United Healthcare, the founders, Richard and Pamela Burke, decided to start something called Secure Senior Connections. And they offered it free to anybody who was the member of the United Healthcare's Medicare supplemental, which was administered through AARP. So they started that April 21. And in May of 21, I turned 65. Got on Medicare, went to United Healthcare, saw this thing and said, yeah, this looks pretty cool. I'll join. And I sat on it maybe for about 3-4 months. And all of a sudden I started getting emails, come to this event, come to that event. And I checked it out. They'd really built out a wonderful website. I started connecting with people on some of the chats. We'd have social time where we could just get to know each other in small groups on Zoom for maybe 8 to 10 people. And they had classes and workshops where you could interact, where there were 15 to 20. It was great. And it started to grow and grow and grow. They had about 30,000 members at one point, but only maybe 200 were active, coming back to the site more than once or twice a month. They didn't know how to deal with that. They started to cut back on programs, and they asked some of the members to step in and offer programs, which we did. That started in April of this year, of 2023. Well, turns out that now that COVID was over, Medicare wasn't reimbursing the insurance companies for these additional benefits they were providing. And they said, we're going to pull the plug. It was costing several $1 million a year to operate this thing, 40 professionals. There were social workers and real high quality stuff. But the community that it had built was so tight. We were so caring. We were meeting with each other in these different sessions and really making a difference in each other's lives around different things, including our posts, sharing our posts. Well, we found out on July 20th, they were going to be closing down on July 28th. I said, I can't let this happen. I jumped into action by going to circle.so. That's a platform that is designed for communities. And I had been a member of one community, that's this one, Money Habitudes. I'll just show you a quick one so you can see what another one looks like. And so how to use the cards and product demos and training courses. I'd gone through a training course on one of those. I said, this is the exact same layout we had at the Secure Senior Connections. Unfortunately, I don't have any screenshots of that, but we had the calendar here and what's going on here and links over here. So I went to work. And in 24 hours, I built out the roughness of what we're looking at right now. From there, I got the word out. We only had 8 days to get the word out. Within 8 days, we had about 100 or about 75 members. to 100 members, 75 to 100. Right now, we are at 135. We've lost a few, maybe 5. That's not bad. And you can see that what we do, when somebody comes in, they can go to start here and find out what we're all about. We offer resources. We have a place for people to say hello, introduce themselves. This is where a lot of the action goes on, is the daily chat. What's going on? In fact, I've got starting in a little about an hour, I'm doing Name That Tune with all Broadway musicals, and I try to stump people. We have events. And I'm doing this one. We've got coffee talk every morning. Trivial Pursuit means Jeopardy. Patty does that every week. There's an open Zoom room. These are the things that get a lot of good attendance. The Tuesday and the Sunday open Zoom room. Just come and talk. Patty Chat. She started this as a new program just a few weeks ago. We're going to be talking about our favorite kitchen gadgets and why are they so much fun. Fred, dear Fred Burney, 80 some years old in Maryland. He's the video king. He has stuff that you can't believe. The entire collection of the Republic Motion Picture Studios serials and their movie collection, plus so much other, because he was an early videographer and video transfer guy in Miami. And whatever he did, he kept a copy of. So he has classic movie nights. We've seen some amazing things that you just can't find anywhere. I have a weekly variety hour. This week, I'm going to be featuring the life of Shirley Jones, the life and work of Shirley Jones. Yeah, who didn't love Shirley Jones? That we have a senior studies group that's doing its own thing. There's one that's off the calendar because it's invitation and it's for grief support. But we also have all these categories where Patty puts a lot of memes in, but there are also good articles, cards and games, knitting, and so on, dating and romance. So for a little extra cost, I think it was $20 a month, I added another roughly 20 rooms. It was 20 for 10. So we have all these categories where people make posts, and you can see we're all inclusive. I can go over to the open chat right now. I can see Joe is online. He's been active in the last 10 minutes because he's green. Everybody else that's here is orange. They're online, connected to the platform, but they haven't been active in the last 10 minutes. And then all these folks are currently offline because they don't have anything going on. Now, we can all reach out to each other. We can all set up our own bios and the information we want to share with people. It's really nice. In the different chats and such, you can elect what, oh, no, that's for me. Sorry. Go to notifications. Oh, I don't think it shows up there, but events. Yeah, here we go. Anybody that's gets notifications can choose to get them in the app, by email, and also mobile. So they have all the options they can set themselves. And then we've got other links, community guidelines, links to the app, because it works well on the phone. We also link to AARP Senior Planet because they have a lot more stuff going on than we do. We're just a little gap, and we don't want to be really huge. I'd like to get to maybe 1,000 with 40 to 50 daily active members. Our alumni Facebook group. We've got our tax exemption documents, another group that started about the same one at the same time, and then WISDO that I've worked with was for emotional health. And so we've got all this stuff going on for our members. We are just trying to get something open every day. As I mentioned, we're a nonprofit, a 501c3. Got that together, fast-tracked through IRS in about 3.5 weeks. And then it went to the state of California. So bingo. We do it with 2 Zoom rooms. One is open 24/7, so people can connect, sort of like the lounge at an adult senior center or at the community center or in the dorm. You go into the lounge, see who's there. If nobody you want to talk to, you just leave. And if you want to chat, you chat. The other one we use for our events. And so these 2 Zoom rooms give us everything we need to do that this other group is doing for several $1 million for under $2,000 a year. I've got it funded about 26%, And I am looking for other things because loneliness is a big thing. The loneliness epidemic report, 82-page report from the US Surgeon General, came out earlier this year. What else do we have? We have things in the news. America has a loneliness epidemic. What can we do? Here are 6 steps to address it. Well, I'm looking to do one of those, strengthening people's social infrastructure, but not outside. A lot of people can't get out anymore. They're still homebound. MS, infirmities, just not able to get out, but they don't have ways to connect and make new friends. This has been a way to do that. Secure Senior Connections proved it. The other thing I think is interesting is Dr. Ruth Westheimer is now ambassador of loneliness for New York State and what she plans to do to help reduce loneliness in the country. So, or in the state of New York. So that's what we're doing. We are here to combat loneliness. I am a member of another group. So through that group, we have Grant Station. I have access to grant seeking opportunities all over the place, but I'm open to taking contributions. So I'm sure you'll see the QR code after after this presentation at the bottom. And if you really are interested in visiting, we're open to membership 60 plus in the US because we're a 501c3. You've got to be in the US. It's free, and I can give Rushton the codes, which you'll see down below, to come in as a visitor. You'll be there as a woman I invented using one of my other email addresses by the name of Henrietta Finkelpearl, a name made up by my sister when she was running around my grandmother's house at age 5, doing crazy songs. So in tribute to her, she's from Maplewood, New Jersey. And you can come in and just tour the site as Henrietta, poke around, see what you like. And then log out and then go to our outside website because the one you see is private. You won't find it in internet searches. You go to our outside website and request an invitation. You will get the link to join. Then just join the groups, post away, come to our live events, and make new friends. Questions?
All right. Thank you, Shags. So, first question is from Chris, who's got his hand up, ready for that. Chris, unmute and go ahead.
Yeah, Shags, you mentioned US only. Is there a reason for that?
I think it's a requirement of being a US nonprofit that I've got to provide services to US residents only.
Well, that means Rotary Club with the same stature could only have members in the United States then.
They're not a 501c3. They're a 501c6. I don't know about foundations, and foundations may be able to send things out, but because we are considered a nonprofit charitable organization, there's some limitations.
So a guy like me qualify, even though I live in Canada, but I do have a residence in the United States.
Sure, just sign up from that residence.
Yeah, okay, that's cool.
Yeah, and we're not double checking. And I don't send reports to anybody.
No, yeah, for obvious reason.
But nobody asks. I don't know how they'd ever ask.
So, Shags, in putting this together, I mean, you were highly motivated by this experience with Secure Senior Connections before, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Tell us some of the stories that are kind of specific to individuals that you met as a part of that. For those who are watching, in addition to everything else Shags does, he is an accomplished storyteller and has worked with the California State Association of Storytellers. So, Shags, let me hand that over to you.
There's Bill, good old Bill. Lost his second wife. Both very loving relationships. Both died from illnesses. Very lonely. He was open to meeting new people. Even though he worked in IT, he was leery of technology. And it took him forever to even get comfortable enough just to come on to this site. Well, he hasn't come over to the playground yet because just as SSC was closing down, he met somebody in the state over that was a short drive away. They've now sold her house and she's moving in. That's only one of three. I know of two other relationships that met, but I didn't know it personally. I'd only heard about it. There's Fred, who's just awfully lonely and loves to talk, so we give him a place to talk, and he has amazing stories. He's like Robin Williams, but not as funny in how he goes on. But and he knows he talks a lot. But the nice thing is that we could raise our hand and say, Fred, take a breath. And he'll say, oh, I'm sorry, I've been talking too much. And as I said, he's a video guy. He's got amazing stuff. This is gosh, he'd shoot me. Nah, he wouldn't do that. He likes me too much. This is his view when we're on Zoom with him. This is one view we see of his room, of his office, and this is the other one of his basement. So I look at all that equipment, video transfer equipment, and all of it still works. So it's fun when he does stuff for us. On Monday, I either have a name that tune or I have a sing along. Never sing along with Mitch. I have a sing along, and we will put on ourselves on mute because you don't want to hear me sing and I don't want to hear you sing. But getting that energy out as we all sing together is just an amazing thing. And we have fun. And that's why it's called the playground. When I was at Secure Senior Connections, I was so enthusiastic and I was talking to the staff, and most of them liked me, all except for one. I'm sorry, I'm not going to say anything about that house landing on her sister, but she's still upset because I said you could make this so much better, but because they had HIPAA, they had things to watch out for. We don't have HIPAA. We don't have to worry about that. We don't have the Medicare requirements. We're just having fun. So they interviewed me. What do you like best about this? And I'm going on about this and that, my little enthusiasm like I'm doing now. And I said, you know what it is? It's a playground. You've given us a place to come and play. And it's just like when you're a kid, if you're bored, go to the playground. I lived near a park. My mom said, go to the park, go to the playground. That's why it's run together as one word, the playground. And if you went there and you didn't like the kids who were there, you came back. If your friends were there, you'd stay and play. Sometimes you just poke around and pump the well or go for a walk in the woods, play with the ducks. So we are a playground. We're here for people 24/7 to connect, to try to reduce loneliness and isolation.
Very cool. So, in a lot of senior assisted living centers, they talk about the challenges that many of the residents have related to loneliness. Have you done anything along the lines of perhaps partnering with one of those to help kind of bring their people on, and perhaps even work with some kind of financial support from the center?
Well, that's all part of what I'm doing long term. I'm slowly gathering contact information, starting locally, and just letting their activity director know that this is something they can introduce to their residents. First, take a tour of our site, and then introduce it to your residents that may not want to come down and be social, but still want to connect with others. Many of our members are in independent living or assisted living, and they connect to us through Zoom. We're not their only way of making new friends and being connected, but we're an additional way, one that works for them.
Very cool. Do you have any issues with learning the technology for the people who might be interested? But I mean, like, how do you help people kind of get a sense of how the site works?
Every now and then I'll host a tour, but now you've got me thinking I will create a video of how to navigate the site. Throw that up as a resource. But we also have one document that Rosemary, one of our members who is a former the trainer, she created a 13-page guide, screenshots, and said, this is where you find different things. This is how you join groups. This is how you make posts. So we do have that in the resources, but it's not a video yet. We have a handout. But then she gets upset if I make changes to things because it doesn't read the same way.
Part of how a community works is navigating those kinds of challenges.
That's right.
Now,
It's building it out was pretty simple. Circle.so has they got a good platform. And I think the base of it was $1,600. And then I added the two other things on for $20 each a month. And so, but paid in advance. And then the two Zoom accounts, the filings for the Fed.
mhm,
So first year maybe be 2,100, 2,200. That's nothing,
mhm.
really.
So let's talk about you and starting it. So you have got a long history with Rotary, and that goes back in your family. So that thing that your family has always valued in Rotary, in terms of connections to others, is that something you can kind of speak to with regard to how you're doing this now?
Well, Rotary is all about the community, all about serving the community. And I wouldn't be surprised if RI takes on loneliness and isolation as an additional health and human service concept or focus. In fact, I'd be happy to advance it and push for it. Yes, I've been in Rotary 41 years, perfect attendance. My dad was in Rotary 45 years, perfect before he passed, 46. My great uncle, Harry, joined Rotary in 1915, Rotary Club of Youngstown, and he was in for 49 years and 6 months. The very first one, going toward 50 ever. He died. So I got to get there. Plan sticking around. It's what I do.
Well, you do it well, my friend. Rory, you've got some questions.
Yeah, Steve, I just have two relatively simple questions. One, if I had never done anything with computers or anything, but I wanted to join your group, how much technology would I need to be able to access what you guys do?
You have to start your browser
Okay.
and go to a website, register, and hopefully have a way to save your password so you don't have to log in manually every time.
Right.
And then you just show up, start poking around. If you make a post that's inappropriate, we can remove it. I have a woman who is a member. She has really bad eyesight. So I fix her typos for her. She's very grateful for that. Sometimes she'll have apostrophes instead of commas and so on. So I fix the typos.
Makes sense. My other question is, are most of your members in your neck of the woods, or are they scattered throughout the US? Or
We're all over. We got Texas, Idaho, New York, Massachusetts, Connecticut, Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, Florida. We're all over. Washington State. 140 people from all over the country. And a lot of them don't interact, but they read the stuff. And you come to the playground and you get out of it what you want, and you give it what you want. If a member wants to create a program, they can just ask me to post it on the events page. I don't think an individual member can post an event, just the administrators. But they can also always put out a shout out, a pop-up event, meet in the lounge, because that's the 24/7 versus events. Meet in the lounge in an hour with me and put that in the chat. And whoever's online will see the chat. It's great. Oh, things. Speaking of chat, there's things in the chat.
So thinking about the connection with Rotary, have you considered asking Rotary clubs to take on the kind of mini project of identifying someone in their community who might benefit from this and helping them connect, right? So you can imagine having like an ambassador in a Rotary club who's learned about it, maybe participates, and is able to, once or twice a month to go somewhere where there's a shut-in and say, hey, there's this community and you can join. Is that something you've looked at in terms of or how have you looked at Rotary Connections?
I just thought of it now. Thanks for the idea. I'll send a notice out to all the clubs saying, come watch this program that's recorded. and see if you might want to have somebody in your club watch out for seniors that are affected. It could be your family members of your or yourself, family members of you, your friends, your clients, who can benefit from just getting another contact in their life, finding a group of caring community members that want to help you not be so lonely. Get together, play games, chat about different things.
Well, it sounds like you've really built, the kind of system that can do a lot of good in a lot of ways, and I love that spirit of Rotary that's been a part of your family for so long has kind of shined its way through with this as well. As we do, we wind ourselves down, and I'll hand it back to the speaker for the final word. But first, let me thank everybody for taking time to watch this video, to learn a little bit about Shags's work. If you scroll down a little bit on our Rotary page or down from our YouTube page holding this video, you can find a link that will take you to learn more about the effort that Shags has told us all about. On our Rotary page, we hope you'll do a couple of things as well. Let us know you were here. There's an attendance form, and it helps us to know how far the reach is, that kind of thing. And there's a forum at the bottom where you can share your thoughts on what it is that you've learned from this program, as well as the other elements of our meeting. The learn something new, the joke, the inspirational video, President Nick's message, all of these things. So we hope that you will avail yourself of that. As we always do, we hand it back to Shags, our speaker, for the final word. Shags, what would you like people to have in mind as they finish watching the video?
I'm sure you know people that are lonely and isolated, maybe not completely, but are just looking to make some new friendships, truly develop a connection with somebody where you can talk one-on-one and share some common interests. That's what we're about at the playground. Support us financially, support us in membership, spread the word.
Wonderful, Shags. Everyone, we will see you next week.